everybody. Today we're talking about the professional edit, everyone's favorite part of the writing process. Or not. This topic was requested by one of my amazing patrons from over on Patreon, Jaden. Jaden, you're so smart and so cool, and I love you. Platonically. Editing a manuscript is tricky. You gotta enlist beta readers, you gotta edit the material yourself. Then once all that's done, you gotta browse through a bajillion websites looking for the perfect editor to rip your novel apart. On top of that, there are a bunch of editing styles to choose from, because life isn't already hard enough, am I right? Fortunately, I'm here to ease the pain just a little bit. I'm gonna list the most common types of edits and assessments and what you can expect from them. Number 1, critiques, also referred to as assessments. A critique is an evaluation of your manuscript. You'll learn about your strengths and weaknesses, recurring mistakes, and suggested tweaks. Critiques can be extremely eye-opening, but keep in mind, they are not edits. If someone's providing a critique, they're not gonna fix everything. They're just giving you an overview. Now, there are different ways you can solicit critiques. Most writers enlist critique partners, which are fellow writers who agree to critique your manuscript in return for you doing the same for them. But if you want a professional opinion from someone with experience, you can also hire someone to critique your manuscript. Typically, this is done via an editor, but writers and authors sometimes offer critique packages as well. If you do decide to hire someone for a critique, it's important to remember that this is not a mandatory expense, nor does it replace the professional edit. I repeat, you still need to hire an editor. Additionally, there are folks out there who use critiques as a way to dupe naive writers. They'll call themselves an editor, but oddly enough, only offer critique packages. This is a bait and switch tactic. They're hoping you won't know the difference between an edit and critique, and will hire them simply out of ignorance. So be aware, critiques and edits are not the same. Number 2, developmental edits, also referred to as content edits. Developmental editing focuses on the story itself, the structure, organization, and plot points. In this phase, an editor will examine your writing style. They'll look for inconsistencies within the storyline, crappy pacing, one-dimensional characters, thematic discrepancies. Basically, they're here to make your story suck less. During developmental edits, grammar and sentence issues are not the focus. The point of this phase is to make your plot and storyline the best they can be. This is where your content and characters take center stage, and things like punctuation aren't quite as relevant. In my personal opinion, developmental edits are an extremely important part of the editing process, because it doesn't matter how pretty your prose are or how perfect your spelling is, if your story blows. Number 3, line edits. Our last point looked at your manuscript as a whole. This point looks at it in terms of sentences. Line editing is all about clarity and flow. Your editor is analyzing your sentence structure, fluidity, writing style, and word usage. If your writing is long-winded or your dialogue is unnatural, a line editor will let you know. If your language isn't creating the right visuals, or you just keep using the same damn words over and over again, a line editor will let you know. This phase is sort of half content focused and half technically focused, but 100% important. A line edit will polish your writing and help ensure that you're telling your story as clearly and beautifully as possible. Number 4, copy edits. Now we're getting super technical. Copy editing is all about making sure your book is following those pesky writing rules. I'm talking spelling, punctuation, grammar, the mechanical stuff. You're covering it in the copy edit. Now, some writers need a copy edit really badly because, well, grammar is hard. But for others, this sort of stuff comes naturally, so they may not see the copy edit as a necessary step. However, copy editing can still be really important because not only does it ensure that your writing follows industry standards, it also makes sure you're following them consistently. For example, some writers use Oxford commas, some don't. That's up to you, and neither is wrong. But you can't flip-flop between using an Oxford comma and not using it. You have to be consistent. Copy editing also covers less obvious mistakes, like inaccuracies within the text, incorrect word usage, or continuity errors. And realistically, no matter how great you are at writing, you're still gonna miss something. Even if you're a grammar buff, I wouldn't recommend swearing off this step. Lastly, number 5, the proofread. A proofread is kinda tricky because it means two different things depending on who you ask. Some people consider a proofreader to be the person who reads the proof copy of your novel. After your novel is formatted and ready for print, a proofreader will check for formatting errors like faulty spacing, misaligned margins, or the occasional typo. If you're hiring this kind of proofreader, it's assumed that your novel has already been thoroughly edited and is essentially ready for print. The second type of proofreader is probably the one you're more familiar with, someone who reads through a manuscript looking for typos, spelling and punctuation errors, and other really minor mistakes. They're not going to tell you if your story sucks, they're not going to point out problems with flow or symbolism, they're just dealing with the nuts and bolts. That means this is a service you would enlist as a safeguard after your book is fully edited, but before it's formatted. Told you it was tricky. When hiring a proofreader, I'd recommend you make sure you're getting the specific kind you're looking for, since there's more than one. And like critiques, a proofread does not serve as a substitute for a professional edit. But Jenna, does this mean I have to hire 5 different types of editors? Yes and no. Mostly no. Most editors offer packages, and these packages typically include more than one style of edit. For example, an editing package may include copy edits and line edits, or line edits and developmental edits. This is extremely common. That said, that doesn't mean your manuscript is a one and done situation. It's common to hire more than one editor, or a critique and an editor, or an editor and a proofreader, but the pairing will depend on your strengths and weaknesses as a writer. Additionally, these are just the most common types of edits and assessments. There are still other options out there, like sensitivity reading. A sensitivity reader is someone who reads through your manuscript looking for content that is culturally insensitive or alienating. This is a service that's beyond helpful for writers who are writing about characters in a group or culture that they don't belong to. For example, a straight writer writing about characters in the LGBTQ+ spectrum. But Jenna, I don't know what editing style I need. Who do I even hire? I'm getting there. Relax. First of all, if you're at the professional edit stage, that means you've already enlisted beta readers, right? Ask them what style of edit your manuscript needs. If they say you don't need any edits, don't believe them. They're either really nice or really stupid. You can also ask the editors you're contacting. Most editors offer sample edits, and reading over a section of your story can give them an idea of what elements need the most work. Lastly, once you've chosen an editor and finished the process with them, ask them straight up. Do you think I need another pair of eyes? Do you think I need a proofreader? They'll be able to give you their honest opinion, and they might even have a few professional recommendations. But Jenna, how much is this gonna cost me? A lot of money, so start saving now. Editor fees vary widely, but from my research, most editors charge between 1 to 3 cents per word, depending on the size and depth of the editing package. This is pretty normal, and honestly, 1 cent per word is cheap. If you decide to cut corners and hire an editor that charges a fraction of that, well, you get what you pay for. That said, critiques, proofreads, and sensitivity reading tends to be cheaper than edits because they're less in depth. But again, they do not serve as a replacement for a full-on professional edit. So that's all I got for you today. The professional edit can be a daunting process, but having a firm understanding of your options makes it a lot easier to navigate. If you want my personal recommendation for editors and critique partners, because again, they're not the same thing, I got links in the description below. These are people that I've worked with and absolutely loved. A huge thank you to Jaden for requesting this topic. You are a delight. If you'd like the chance to have a video dedicated to you, or if you want access to tons of other rewards, check me out on Patreon. The link is below. With that said, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays, and if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. My book is still available in ebook and paperback on Amazon right now. You can also order a signed copy. Links are listed below. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and of course, you can tweet me at Jenna Moreci. Bye!